Greetings and salutations out there, everybody. It's Dave Duford. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. It's June 23rd, 2021, and welcome to another YouTube live Q&A session designed specifically to answer your questions on selling and marketing insurance successfully. The purpose of this program is to help you all out there with your burning questions related to anything regarding selling insurance, marketing insurance, joining an insurance MLM Kool-Aid drinking pyramid scheme, even perhaps. Try to help you out of that. Either way, this is a open mic session to help you with any of your questions that you have regarding selling insurance. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your time checking out what it is that we do. So believe it or not, I usually start this live training off with a little comments from the haters segment. There's been no haters. It's been great. Hard to imagine, right? Maybe it's summer. Everybody's getting out of the house, getting some fresh air after being locked inside with the key thrown away for the past year. So everybody's hopefully relaxing a little bit. Thank God. So either way, we're going to jump right in, and I would be pleased to have you participate. If you have questions about anything related to selling or marketing insurance, just use the old chat feature at the bottom of your screen or on your smartphone. Ask your question, and then I will work my way through the questions. Tends to be a little delay, of course, as, I'm asking the questions, and I tend to deliberate and discuss them at length. So just be patient. I usually get to all the questions by the end. So either way, please make sure you like this video if you happen to like my content. YouTube likes to share live streams, and this is especially useful because there's a lot of agents out there who don't have the truth. They're looking at an organization that they don't know how bad they're going to get screwed on commission, or work leads that are ancient and, have a pretty much bad opportunity. So please like the video if you don't mind. If you don't, that's fine. You don't have to like it, but I'd appreciate it if you do, just to get the word out. All right, so let's jump into these questions here. We're just going to go right in. Okay. Hello, Kim. Thanks for being here. Glad to have you. Mark, howdy. Justin, yo, what's up? Kim, MJ, hey, what's going on, man? Thank you, Cindy. Congratulations. Now the fun begins when you get that license, right? So I'll kind of start off with that. I know a lot of you watching this are brand new to insurance sales. You got your insurance license, now what? The best thing I could suggest for you all to do is spend some time really deliberating on what it is that you want to do in this industry. A lot of people get their license because they already have an agency or an opportunity lined up. And unfortunately, as I've discovered recruiting agents and selling insurance myself since 2011, sometimes the opportunity presented ain't all what it's supposed to be. It doesn't add up. Apparently, not everybody has Ferraris and planes flying around everywhere. The success rate isn't what it seems. And a lot of people leave this business with a chip on their shoulder, understandably. And we like to say it's not going to happen to me. Bad things happen to other people. But the failure rate in this business is in excess of 90%, I believe, in the first year. So it's likely you're going to be a statistic. I mean, let's face it, the odds are against you. So for this reason alone, I highly recommend that you slow down. You pump the brakes a little bit. Think before you jump in, because it can have devastating effects on your business and your perception of the business. And I can tell you, being in this business since 2011, this business is everything they say it is. It just takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of grinding it out to get to that point in your career where you're really proud of the decisions and the sacrifices you made. But that can be extended much unnecessarily longer by making the wrong decisions, working with the wrong organizations. So this is one of the commitments to my channel, is to provide you with as little bias as possible. Of course, I can't be completely biased. I do recruit and train agents, of course, but try to provide you with as little bias as possible on what you need to be looking for, what considerations you need to be thinking of when looking to join an insurance agency. And you need to take this seriously, guys. This business is awesome, but it can be the worst decision you make if you choose the wrong agency. I think I did a survey about a year ago on why insurance agents fail. And right at the top of the list was picking the wrong agency. So this is why I'm harping on this really kind of the start, to let the chats, the questions load into the chat. You really need to take this seriously and be prepared. It makes all the difference. So thanks for being here, by the way. Okay. Hey, Bob, what's up? Any advice for a new agent with anxiety about being in front of people? Hey, Crystal, what's going on? You know what? I am a natural introvert. When I go to conferences, like I'm in the back of the room. You know, I'm not Mr., Dave on camera, El Jefe as they call me. I don't know. It's strange, but I guess saying this, the reason I'm doing this is just to let you know you're not alone. In fact, a lot of top salespeople are introverts. And you have an advantage, I think, in a sense, because introverts typically are, first of all, they're introspective. They think, they listen typically more. And in sales, it's not about being the best talker. It's about being the best listener, right? So if that's you, or if you're an introvert, you're in good company. I used to be afraid to call the pizza man when I was a kid, okay? You can learn how to lessen the introverted angle of your personality, enough so to like complete presentations. I will say this too, Crystal. You're always going to have anxiety, okay? At least I always had anxiety running appointments in the field on some level. It's very much like exercise. Starting is the hardest part, and that's when the anxiety level is at its peak, right? But when you go out there and you run appointments and you realize it isn't that big of a deal because you have this thing in your mind saying it's a big deal. But after you run appointments and you start helping people and you start changing lives, which you really do in this business, it's not an exaggeration, you start to realize what good you're doing. You get excited about it. That takes the place of the anxiety, not entirely, but it minimizes it. And it's like a muscle. You condition that muscle, and it hurts at first, the after effects, the delayed onset muscle soreness, right? But eventually your body, your mind adapts, and the stress isn't as big. So I'm not here to promise you that your anxiety is going to go away. What I will promise you, though, is if you do this consistently long enough, yes, it's still there, but you don't pay attention to it as much. And guys, this is true of public speaking. This is true of selling. This is true of anything where there's anxiety. Anybody tells you it goes away, maybe it does for some people, but what I found for me personally, it's still there. It just doesn't matter as much because I have the experience and the self-confidence anyway that I'm going to help people, and I know that things are going to be okay, and despite the anxiety. So there's my perspective. Okay. Let's keep going here. Let's see here. I skipped some. Sorry about that. Kim, when enrolling with you as an agent, what are your requirements as far as different levels of production and commissions? And time frames, I recruit brand new agents. I recruit experienced agents. I don't care about your background, your pedigree, where you've come from, where you're going. I need people who want to go to work, who are willing to buy leads and invest in leads, and be, coachable to learning how we do it and executing on that strategy. I don't look at resumes. Sometimes people send me resumes. I don't care about resumes. I care about you. Are you the right personality type that mixes in with me? Are you the right personality type for this business? Can you adhere to a sales system? Can you deal with the ups and the downs that are inherent in any performance-based reality like selling insurance? So for me, I don't have quotas. My commission levels typically are higher than the competition out there. I'm big on training and support and developing agents. So I'm just looking for the right people. And I can expand on that more if you'd like me to. Just let me know. Kim, when becoming one of your personal recruits, will your training programs be included? Yeah, I don't charge for training for my agents. Now, I sell products. If you guys are on my email list or occasionally watch my videos, you guys know I sell stuff, right? I kind of have different streams of income in my insurance business, one of which is selling products like info products, courses, etc. The main one is recruiting and training agents to sell. The agents that work with me are not charged for anything related to the sales training and the marketing training. Exception to that is if you do something like Facebook marketing, you have to buy your own course. I don't make money off of it. But my key point here is this. I only make money with my agents when they make money. There are a lot of organizations out there, guys, you may not have thought of this, but they make money even if you don't. They make money on selling you overpriced, recycled age leads that they've marked up. They make money on requiring boot camp fees before you even sell the first thing, or training fees or something like that. And all of this is designed that the company, the corporate structure, can profit off of you even if you don't make a sale. But what I always thought is that blurs the line of the goal alignment. Your agency, in my opinion, should make money when you make money exclusively at that point. when it comes to you two doing business. Anytime they make money before that, it blurs what's important, right? Because think of it, if the agency doesn't make money till you make money, doesn't make money on leads, doesn't make money on coaching or training, which I don't make any of that with my guys and gals, then aren't they interested in getting you out there to sell and being prepared? Of course. And that's how I purposely design my business and agency to do that. I could do what the other guys do, but I don't, because I think there's some level of dishonesty to it on some level, frankly. Just my opinion. Hey, MJ, a good sequence of training lessons on selling final expense exclusively on the phone, training from carriers, and how to complete the application process with phone prospects, etc. Yes, I've got that on my training website. Definitely have that on all that. Yes, for agents. So some training I don't put on my YouTube channel. It's exclusive to agents. So there's something that's there. What is the average chargeback percentage? Hey, Michael, thanks for the good question. It depends on what products you're selling. If we're thinking final expense here, I would say and again, there's a lot of contingencies here, and I'm going to give you kind of my major conditions. Most carriers have a first-year persistency. That, if you're new, means the policy you sold stays on the books at least 13 months. The goal persistency is like 75 to 80%. So in other words, about 1 out of 4 lapsing in the first year is the carrier's goal. Now, please understand, that's not my goal. My goal is to be better than that. So what is considered good? I personally think that if you do the following, number 1, you don't sell one product, okay? And 2, so you sell multiple products. You're a broker. And number 2, you also sell in a way that's more consultative and not pushing product on people who don't need it or desire it. If you adhere to those 2 principles, I really think your persistency should be in the 80 to 85% range, meaning 80 to 85% of your business in a year's time will still be on the books. You're always going to have lapses. People change their mind. That's just part of life, right? But we want to minimize that opportunity when it's unnecessary. And if you do things like push for somebody to buy a policy, and, Mildred's making $800 a month, she has no savings, she's stretched as it is and doesn't really want it or need it. She's got 270 days to wake up and change her mind. You're going to get a chargeback. Likewise, if you walk in and you're only selling one company, and it doesn't matter if it's an overpriced company or a fair company, it's not always going to be the best option for the client. You are pushing a product on the client that may not be the best suited for her, right? You will find my people, my agents coming behind you to replace it, because we have access to other carriers that get our clients a better deal. More coverage for the same price, or better quality coverage for the same price. For example, there's an agent in my agency who has replaced one other agent's very well-known, big-name final expense agency, massively recruiting. Probably know what I'm talking about. They love to sell a company that starts with an A that's very overpriced. It has a gimmick that I won't say any more about, that I think really opens you up to being replaced. And this particular agent of mine has replaced him 5 times, probably $3,000-$4,000 in chargebacks. Now, could you imagine having to owe $3,000 to $4,000? And that's just one agent who's gone in and replaced. And it doesn't take, you don't have to be a rocket surgeon to replace this stuff. It's like, hey, you want more value? I can help you. Hey, you know about that gimmick and what's going to happen when time passes and it's got to change the prices? The agent didn't tell you that? Well, here's what you can do. So these are the things you need to be careful about, okay, guys? That's why I make a big deal out of carrier selection and also how you sell, because your persistency should be 80-85% on average. Some's going to be better, some's going to be worse, but it should be pretty much closely in line with that. Thanks for the good question. Hey, Brian, what would you recommend for learning Index Universal Lives? Not working with me. The only reason I just don't do IULs, I'm sure there's a good organization that teaches IULs. Unfortunately, a lot that's out there that are in the IUL game, they're the pyramid schemes. And I say that flippantly. They're legal operations. They're completely legitimate. They just follow the MLM culture keyword cult, that we all know and love. So I don't necessarily think learning from them's best, because your comp's going to be really low. They're going to push you to recruit versus learn how to strategize and build products around the IOL platform. I really don't have a referral for you. I just don't. I wish I did, but it's a cool product. Yeah, hey Ed, I'm glad you're here, man. Hey Cindy, Bob, thank you for being here. Crystal, yep, I'm gonna answer that question first. Hey Kevin, what's going on? Bill, what percentage of my deposit from sales should go back to lead costs? So for me, you should be reinvesting as much as you can. I mean, on some level, but obviously we gotta pay bills and enjoy ourselves, right? The goal is to have $4 in revenue for the year for every dollar invested. Okay, so if I'm putting $1,000 in a lead system, and I'm talking final expense here. If you want me to differentiate for other products, let me know. But for final expense, for every $1,000 a week, for example, I want $4,000 in return. Okay. Now I won't get all that return up front. I'll get it advanced. I'll get the remainder of that return to come in months 10, 11, 12 in most cases. But in totality for the year, I want $4,000 or $4 for every dollar invested. How many times would you play a game where you put $1 into a machine and it spits out $4? How many times? Infinitely, right? So if you're not excited about 1,000 turns into 4,000, what about 50,000 turns into 200,000? Or 100,000 turns into 400,000? That's possible in final expense. And there comes a point where this is what happened to me personally. I became more obsessed about ROI than my closing rate. I had watched agents that had closing rates in the 30%, the 35% range, and they were just incredible agents, just phenomenal what they're accomplishing. But I realized, not everybody can be Cal Ripken of final expense, where their batting average is consistently over 30%. There are great ball players, for example, in baseball, that have batting averages of 25, 250 or slightly. You can in final expense. You don't have to be the best closer. You just have to be consistent in execution, and then simultaneously scale up your activity to the level that will allow you to realize the net income that you're looking for. So I was always a good agent, not a great agent, definitely not a bad agent. And my ROI was always in that 4-to-1 range. That was my target. Just scaled up to as much as I could. Cindy, I look on Indeed and ZipRecruiter for reviews of agencies. Yes. You might even see my website. I review a lot of agencies as well. But yeah, that helps. While I'm not old enough to sell insurance, hey, Justin, I feel like I've watched all these sales vids, but I still want to improve my skills. Any tips, other things I should study up on? Man, Justin, the best thing you can do, maybe set appointments. I'm telling you, there's probably half the agents on this call right here would love somebody to set appointments for them. If you get good on the phone, dude, when it's time to go out there and sell, it's money, dude, money. You may want to consider that. I mean, there's probably, like I said, 20 agents on here like, oh God, somebody set my appointments for me. I'll pay him $15, $20 per set appointment. No joke. It's good money for him. So I'd look at that. And you can do that at nights, weekends, prime time to call, especially at nights. That's the way I look at it. And you'll get experience that has a relevancy to your ultimate goal of selling insurance. And part of this, and the reason I say do something, there's a point where you can't study anymore and you got to go do the thing. You got to experience it, because there's a lot of lessons and learning you're going to get by the action of doing the thing you want to do, right? So you probably are at that point. So only so many videos can prepare you. Then you got to go do it. All right. Mark, I have heard you mention your Quick Start program. What type of leads will we be using, since direct mail take a few weeks? We could do, and I've trashed Facebook leads. You guys notice that? Yeah. I only trashed purchased Facebook leads. I'm just not impressed anymore with the options for Facebook, especially for telesales. There's one or two vendors face-to-face that are okay. But for telesales, you really have to do your own lead generation just to cut out the middleman. It's just too much money. And the quality of the leads, who knows what they say at this point. But for quick start programs, you could use aged leads. We have some aged leads you can buy. You could do a certain Facebook vendor, get some orders in with them just to kind of bide the time while the direct mail comes in. Maybe some other options too. But that's kind of where I would probably start you at. 1, 2, 3. Hi, Dave. Do you still recommend game time leads? Yes. There, I said it. You guys asked me. I'm telling you, that's the only vendor I'll use. And now all y'all are going to buy from them, and then you're going to ruin that vendor, and then none of us are going to have anything. So I try not to reveal the source, but I can't help myself. So please buy some. Andy's always been good to me. That's where I would go. It's a trap. Yes, they are. 1, 2, 3. Okay, yep. We already did that. Mathis. Hey, what's up? Can you sell insurance to yourself and household? Yeah, but you're going to get paid what's called, what is it called? Controlled business pay. They won't advance your commissions in most cases. So if you write family members, you'll get paid on it the same commission level just as it's earned on a monthly basis. Unless, I guess, you take the whole annual premium up front. No worries. 1, 2, 3. Let's see here. Good. Getting lots of questions here. As you can tell, I'm already way behind. Mindset. They're all focused on recruiting everyone with a heartbeat. Yeah. You know, I guess the strategy does work, and to some extent. I don't like it at all, of course, but, you know, if it didn't work, I guess I wouldn't do it. But the theory is just we can't tell who's going to be successful. We're not going to really try to spend a lot of time with somebody. So we're just going to see what works and throw it against the wall and see what sticks. And some people rise and others fall out. The problem is the tactics I feel like they use to get people into that. They just show off the conspicuous consumerism, as I like to call it. The fat stacks of cash, the Ferraris and whatnot, and just tell everybody it's, you know, $1 million just right around the corner. You know, just sell your friends and family. You know, they just don't like the process of it. I guess if they're honest, like, hey, look, the vast majority of agents fail. It's a tough business. It's great if you stick with it. You know, the odds are against you, but if you follow our process, we'll teach you how to do it. Like, if they're honest about it, I guess it'd be different, but not really. They are not honest. Richard, hey, Rich. When buying leads, how do we know that the leads haven't been sold to other agents as well? The lead sellers generally specify that fact. So here's how I solve it in my agency. I tell agents which ones I've personally vetted. You really don't know unless you self-generate the leads for yourself. And even if you do something like Facebook marketing, guess what? Guess what happens when Facebook has a user click on an ad? They get shown more ads of the same type. And so that lead you're thinking that's exclusive on Facebook gets rapidly shared if that person clicks on another ad. And behaviorally speaking, that's very highly likely to. People who have an interest, if it's not immediately satisfied, are going to click on other things to satisfy that interest. So you really don't know unless you do it yourself. So you have to find people you trust. Trust is what binds business together of all types. And the vendors we use, I completely trust because they haven't shown me any reason not to when it comes to the exclusivity of the leads. That's all we recommend, with the exception of age leads. Our agents know it's age leads. They don't have to buy them. They're just to start with, really. But that's what it comes down to, is trust. Because if they stop doing that, then I drop them, and we don't do business with them, and I let everybody know on YouTube, and they're goners. Jim. How you doing, Jim? Jim's my old buddy from South Carolina. How's the employee benefits business doing? Jim's got a great agency. He's been in the business a long time. Longer than I've been alive, let me put it that way. So he knows what he's doing. And maybe this is the same Jim. I have a Jim Ward buddy out of South Carolina, but this might be another Jim Ward. It's a small world. I've studied the market well. Looking forward to working in this agency. This market, the group of customers will be great to work with because they need help. Yep. Hey, Adam, take ZipRecruiter and Glassdoor reviews with a grain of salt. Thank you for saying that, Adam. Why didn't I catch that? Thank you. Here's the thing, guys. You know, let me ask y'all something completely unrelated. I have noticed when I go on to Amazon, do you even trust the reviews anymore? Like, I don't know if Amazon reviews are legit or not, but sometimes they just read weird. Or you'll see a bunch of positive reviews, and then the top ranking ones are all negative. It drives me mad. I'm trying to buy something and rely on the perspectives of other people who've bought and used them, but you can't really tell at first glance if a high-ranking item is actually good. Likewise, there's something similar, and I don't know if it's scam, but I imagine that it is possible to go into these reviews as managers, as agents, as people who are incentivized for some reason to go out and tout the positives of this without a sober, realistic perspective. So it does make you wonder, how much can you trust these reviews? And this is a big problem that has been purported by people who use Amazon to buy stuff, right? So that's a good point. You have to learn sales just as much as you learn the licensing exams. Yeah, exactly. And you're kind of bringing up a different point, Adam. I kind of cut short, but yeah, that too. You're going to get people that complain, and yeah, you'll always have complaints. Don't just not join an agency because of one or two people. Really discern what they're complaining about. You're never going to have an agency where everybody loves them. That's skeptical. That makes me skeptical. A good agency will have a mix because sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. And you as a person reviewing this information need to take the time to consider, okay, is this person sound like they really tried? Did they have an axe to grind? Did they sound like they were good at sales? Did they sound like they followed the system? So carefully review those. That's 100% true as well. Thanks, Adam. Math on paper. How do you see the future of cold calling globally? Will this profession survive and market in coming years? I think cold calling will work fine. Maybe not as fine as 10 years ago in business-to-business sales. So calling on business owners is still a viable process. Residentially speaking, if you door knock, you'll do okay. But if you're calling over the phone, absolutely not. There's a lot of litigants or professional litigants, I guess you can say. I don't know what the term is exactly. They sue people who allege a DNC call violation. That's why a lot of big organizations refuse to work with agents who buy telemarketing leads. I don't anymore because you can't trust the vendors that create the leads. These are usually offshore, out of jurisdiction of U.S. legality. And the smart litigants go after the agents, the IMOs, and then the carriers and create a paper trail and sue everybody in between, alleging, an interest in it. Therefore, they're just as culpable for the fine. So I've had that happen to me. It was the funniest check I've ever written. It's like, what a racket. I'm in the wrong business. But frankly, cold calling is, to me, for business to business is okay. But for residential, if you're door knocking, maybe. But over the phone, no. It's gone. It's dead in my mind. Perfect. Truly amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Jem. Best books to run a PNC agency or program. When you say books, what do you mean? I'm like learning how. I don't know any PNC books, like study guides, etc. If you want to clarify on that, let me know. Hey, Kent, thanks for being here. Would it be better to start with anyone just to learn the business than trying to go it alone? You can't really ever go it alone in this business. You have to associate with some sort of organization. The question is, how much independence will you get? For me, I liken what I do in my agency as if you're an independent-minded entrepreneurial person, what I do is a perfect match. Great commissions. I don't micromanage you, but when you need support, help, and training, I have it for you. It's that good combination between, having a system to learn and to duplicate, but not having the trappings of the raw mandatory meetings at 7 in the morning. So, someone like you is probably a good fit for what I do. Not always. Some people need more of the micromanagement. But that way, at least you're going to learn from someone who's done it before and has taught others to be successful, but you won't have all the issues coming with a captive agency that wants to monitor your every step and move. Crystal, what can a new agent who learns better by hands-on do if they can't find a study buddy? Get with your friends or family, practice the script on them, ask them to be a sample prospect. Record yourself going through practice presentations. I've actually got an old video on my old camcorder with a cassette. That's how old it is. Me practicing my presentation on camera back when I was like 26. Good Lord. Seems like forever ago. And I'm going to upload it to YouTube once I get a power connection and a cord to bring it over. So do that stuff. If you can't find somebody readily available to do it, grab someone who cares about your future and your career and just beg them to be, willing accomplices. Even that alone is going to be huge. Richard, so generally if someone dies shortly after we sign them up on final expense, insurance company to charge back. Yes. So typically it depends on the carriers, but if you die in the first year, it's likely you're going to get a chargeback. With some carriers, if you die after the first year but before the second year and the contested policy is approved, then you'll not have a chargeback. But if it's not approved because there was misrepresentation on the contract, the client didn't disclose everything, then you'll get a chargeback. It's rare that that happens, but it is a risk. And I can explain that more if you guys want me to. Just throw it in the chat. Robert, how do you get good leads, and how do you get the prospect to answer the phone? Great questions. You work with somebody who knows the business, who understands the lead sources, and preferably someone who doesn't make money off the sale of the leads, so that their recommendations are a little bit more trustworthy. And then your other part of that is, how do you get people to answer the phone? You triple dial them. You dial them, and guys, I know some of you rolling your eyes thinking, why would I want to agitate seniors like this? What's worse, them dying without coverage because you didn't want to bother them, or calling them 3 times to get them to answer phone, being a little perturbed, but then being okay with it and setting the appointment to sell them insurance and have protection, right? It's a choice of what's worse. We only triple dial, not because we're sadists, but because it's the only way to get them to answer phone. And triple dialing simply means you call. If they don't answer, you call back again immediately. If they don't answer, you call a 3rd time. And there's something that happens that breaks the pattern of what they would expect from a phone call. By that 3rd call, people are biting their fingers thinking this is a loved one dying. And they have to pick up the phone because their curiosity gets the best of them. And I wouldn't want to do that if everybody would answer the phone, but the people we deal with don't answer for good measure. It's a telemarketer, a collections person, an insurance agent, right? So this is the only way. Otherwise, you drop by and knock on the door, which is very effective too. So that, plus calling multiple times, is another strategy. Again, one of the common ways that we turn around non-answer issues with leads is triple dialing. It's hard to get people to agents to accept doing it because they feel like a pest. But as soon as you start in a script and you start doing a presentation, they don't care. They're like, oh, yeah, I remember doing that. And their mind shifts away from that agitation to, oh, yeah, I did that. And they're also more engaged because they're just like flipping out over the triple dial, right? They've called me 3 times. Who is this? Armando, hey, when joining your agency besides your online training, do you connect newbie agents with local agents in their area for mentoring, shadow experience? I can connect agents for ride-alongs that may not be local. Armando, if you want to, throw out in the chat which state you live in. I can give you an idea. I'm fine with connecting new agents with my experienced agents doing a ride-along, but you may be required to drive out to them. It's worth it, though. You know, to see the business in reality, it's worth the investment of your time and travel. Hey, Korea, what's going on? I'm late, but what are your thoughts on iLife and how would that work as one of your agents? Hey, Korea, don't do it if you're selling final expense. The iLife product, I think, is more appropriate if you're selling term insurance as kind of a mainstay, or if you're a P&C agent, you get interest in life insurance, you can kind of cue them into that system, and they can automatically enroll themselves. But for final expense agents, the platform of iLife right now is exclusively for traditional life insurance products, which doesn't mean it's not set up for final expense. So I wouldn't bother with it right now. Probably the vast majority of you that are on my channel are not going to be good prospects for iLife. But if you're in the P&C side of this, this is perfect. You guys know that you don't like writing life insurance, and you'd rather just have somebody else do it. So just send them to this thing. It'll do it for you. It's pretty cool. David, do you think hiring a VA from the Philippines to make sales calls is a good idea? If you can get a caller from the Philippines that speaks coherent English, sure. And there's a lot of them out there. I've listened to them. They do a good job. I got a buddy in the business, Christopher Westfall. He has a program called trainedtelemarketers.com. They'll take $1,000 from you and train the agent, and then you can pay them $3-4 an hour, which is like a middle-class wage over there. And I've heard good positive results from using that. So, yeah, you can do it. It's just going to take a lot of training, management, picking the best person that's going to be coherently understood by the prospects. If you can do all that, yeah, sure. It's definitely a way to do it. Hey, John. Pitch that went wrong. Story of your life, huh? Hey, Gerda. What's the ROI on annuity leads? Never wrote annuities before, but I came across a lot of 401k folks. It just depends. I mean, it depends on the lead source. It depends. There's too many variables, and I don't know enough to confidently answer. I feel like we've got an annuity lead program. It's pretty new. It's not something I've got like a vast level of numbers to say, okay, here's what you can expect. But I think it's reasonable if a well-trained agent can go out with 20 direct mail leads and sell one annuity. And the ROI probably is going to be similar to that of final expense. Maybe better, because annuities can bring in some serious money, right, if you write a big deal. Because you can have a small one that pays $5 or $6 grand. That's $100,000 annuity. You might run a $500,000 that pays 25 to 30, right? I mean, the money's significant. Just depends on the size of the deal. Family First Life IMO, highest commissions. What's the catch? No. Well, it just depends. Here's what I would tell you to do. Do your due diligence. Look at the commissions. Look at the commission grid. Let's see what else. Vet your recruiter. Who is bringing you on? Who have they trained? Do they have a track record? That kind of thing. And see if you can connect with them. Now, I say this with all agencies. This is not anything specific to Family First Life. But you need to look around. Always do your due diligence. Okay? Always, I would recommend anybody that you're looking to work for that you ask, hey, your program sounds great. Can you give me 3 names of successful agents you directly work with that I can talk to get a feel for what it's like? And how they responded, that's going to tell you pretty much everything. I had 2 agents today that I was recruiting, and they both sound like great prospects for me. And they asked me, hey, is there any way I can talk to a couple agents? I said, sure, man, absolutely. So I've already sent them over 3 or 4 or 5 names for telesales agents and then Medicare agents in this case. And I love that because I know this person's serious about their business, and I take no personal issue with that. I feel like most agencies get offended by that. So always vet anybody that you're dealing with. Ask for referrals of successful agents and get a feel if you are a good fit for the culture. MJ, what are the minimal number of carriers we should contract that will address the needs of underwriting concerns? 5. Right now it's 4 to 5, depending on the state you're in. I like for telesales, Prosperity Life, Aetna, Ascendo, Royal Neighbors, Guarantee Trust Life, and then Great Western. For face-to-face, I like Prosperity, Trinity Family Benefit Life, Foresters, interchangeable with Aetna Ascendo if you're locked up. You won't get a release. Guarantee Trust Life, and then AIG. There are other carriers as well, and you'll add them on. At least that's how it works with us. But those are the best ones to start with. You don't want to have more than that because it's overwhelming, especially if you're new. But if you're experienced, you can pick up more. By the way, guys, if you're new here, if you like this content, please hit the thumbs up button, the like button. This will help expose this kind of training to agents that desperately need it. They may be in the middle of a MLM culture that they don't like, that they don't know there's other options out there. So if you can press the like button, that would help a lot to just show other people out there that this content's here. So thank you for that in advance. Favorite FE. Oh, wait a minute. Brian, what would you recommend for learning IULs? The ins and outs, best way to set them up. I think I'd cover that. I don't know where to go exactly. I just don't know. I'm a final expense guy. Medicare, annuities. I know that a little bit more and a lot more. Gerda, thoughts on telemarketing leads, oversaturated Facebook leads, as a lot of agents are running campaigns. I think if you're going to do Facebook marketing, you don't need to just do the ad itself and then call. I would be recommending setting up a back platform to automate text messages sequences, have calendar appointments set, also to email out information, get the person sold on you, learn more about you, that kind of thing. That's going to help a lot sell to your audience that much more. And I think if you can do that, you can have a great chance. I'm going to be doing it. I did an interview that's going to be publishing in a couple weeks. I have an agent named Anthony. He writes $8,000 to $10,000 a week exclusively over the phone using Facebook marketing, a strategy using everything I've just described. So we know it works. It's just having the setup just so makes the big difference, I think. Obviously, you got to know what you're doing, trained, etc. Who do I recommend to learn that? Bobby Villanueva. If you go to YouTube and you put in David Duford, $2.50, the first video you see is going to be a Facebook marketing video. Watch that. Bobby knows what he's doing. He's trained a lot of my agents on telesales, and his course is not as expensive as some of these guys that are selling on my channel. You know, I monetize my channel. I'm sure you've seen the guy that's standing in front of the big wave of the ocean and the other guy with the BMW. You know, like, They may work, I don't know, but they're ridiculous. They're like $5,000 to $6,000. And what Bobby charges is a fraction of that. And the thing is, he actually sells this stuff. All right, he's actually doing it. He actually knows how to put it in force. So you're learning from somebody who actually has done it and is doing it. And there's a lot of value in that. So tell Bobby I sent you. Let's see here. And as you'd heard, Gertup, I don't do or recommend final expense telemarketed leads anymore. They're just a litigation nightmare. Favorite FE lead vendor and what kind would you use if you are a veteran agent? Direct mail, direct mail, direct mail. Just sell with direct mail. If you're face-to-face, that's all I would ever do. Over the phone, I would probably figure out how to make Facebook work on some level, like I described. If you were to pin me up against the wall and ask, what's that one thing you would do? That would be it. Tiffany, are there some agencies that offer lead coupons for positive reviews so Glassdoor Indeed may not be too accurate? Yeah. See? Exactly. Thank you, Tiffany. It's 100% what I'm talking about. Yeah, definitely phones are half the battle. Bears and cigars, 100%. Getting the person to pick up is the most frustrating part of this business. Face-to-face or over the phone, right? It's like I want to know more than I want to maybe. Don't we all agree? It's like there's money in those leads if they just pick up the phone. That's the challenge, right? All right. If I skipped any questions, just repeat them in the chat. Sorry. Cybershocker, how long should I work for a single insurance company before becoming when you're self-sufficient, when you can go out there and write business confidently, I think that's the point. It may be 6 months, it may be 16 months, sometime in between. But once you realize that you are what sell insurance, not the company, not the brand. It's you and your relationship with the client, and you can execute on that consistently, go indie. The money's better there. The products are better there for your clients. It's a win-win to be independent. Thomas, David, I'm trying to find the best company for direct marketing printing. So are you doing direct mail leads? If you're going to do direct mail leads, look at leadconcepts.com or needalead.com. Those are the two we recommend. Hey, Chris, you're the best. Thank you. I just recovered from the fetal position after that last live training, and luckily I've recovered and I'm doing better. So thank you. All right. Let me go back here. Lost spot. All right. Biggest problem is getting them on the phone. Yep. Mathis, for someone who wants to start out part-time telesales or face-to-face, how many hours a week should they invest? Yeah, part-time is very subjective. I mean, part-time for me when I started back in 2011 and after I failed out of the business and did part-time again in 2012, it was 3 days a week till from 3 or 4 o'clock in the evening, really 2 or 3 in the evening till midnight, and then all day Saturday. But you may only have a couple of hours, a couple of days a week at night. The key thing is to make it a serious investment of your time. Treat it like a business. Have a full-time mentality even though you're on a part-time schedule, okay? So don't be a hobbyist about this. Go do and perform and sell every single week, day in, day out, okay, even if it's minimal time. And you're in a good position, I think an enviable position, because, it's not like if you got a full-time job, you got some of your bills paid, hopefully all of them, and all the money you can make from this thing, I would just stash it away in your bank account. Make a big bankroll, so by the time you go independent in 6 to 12 months, you have that fat stack of cushion. Makes this business a lot easier when you're sitting on a lot of money. Money does solve a lot of problems in life. It does. At least in this business. What do you think about using seminars again? Yeah, since COVID seems to be cooling off. Yeah, all in. Seminars, the little I've heard, have been positive. I started promoting my seminar module again. If you want to check it out, daveDuford.com/store. If you're an agent of mine, you get it for free. Yeah, seminar marketing is back in. And the nice thing now is nobody's been doing it, right? So you can walk in. These seniors have always been shut-ins anyway. Now they finally get out. They breathe a little, socialize a little, and it's a great opportunity to start writing business. So, yeah, I would be looking at it again for sure. Gertup, seeing a lot of automation systems that claim they don't need to talk to the agent. Yeah, that's BS. Maybe it's true for the millennial prospects, but not for seniors. They want to talk to people, most of them. There is some systems that you don't have to be involved as the agent, but it's a small minority of the total business. It might be 20%. Not enough to, like, you know, do that dream of not talking to anybody but make money, right? Justin, is it smart to get my license before joining your agency? Yeah, you need to get your license to join my agency, or any agency, really. So focus on getting that passed. Glenn, hey, Dave, I'm getting recruited by New York Life. Good company. I'm already part of People Helping People. Haven't done any business yet. Do you think it's wise for me to jump to New York Life, learn the business, and then go being indie? I mean, maybe. I mean, I think New York Life is a great company. They got a great product. If you believe in the product and the process in which they sell, I would definitely consider it. It's not my bag, baby, just because, you know, I don't want to sell to that market. I like the senior market, right? So there's that question you got to ask yourself too. If you like that strategy they teach, you can certainly go independent later for sure. Now, New York Life will have a brokerage program. Some of you may be more aware of the inner workings of it than I do. There's a way that you can broker different products and work with New York Life after like 2 or 3 years. So they kind of give you the best of both worlds. So I'll let somebody in the chat answer that. So there may be a way to do both. Michael, licensed in several states, using your own cell phone can be a detriment because of area code. Do you recommend a dialer? Sure. You can pick up a dialer. It helps you work through the leads faster. I've been getting feedback from agents that have had other area codes that haven't really seen much help. I think triple dialing is going to help you more than just a different area code, personally. But I think it's worth a shot just to test and see how it works for you. Does life leads and Medicare leads cost around the same price? No. Life leads typically cost, it just depends where you get them from. Our Medicare leads are fixed price, direct mail, $25 a piece. We have a lead subsidy. Every sale you make for Medicare Advantage will credit $75 into your account to apply towards a future purchase of leads for Medicare only. Final expense ranges from $10 to $50 and everything in between. Most of the time, it's somewhere in the middle. So it just depends on the vendors. They pay for positive reviews. I've been paid to give good reviews. Yeah, I hate that. You just can't trust anything anymore, man. Christopher, hi, Dave. If I never buy a life insurance lead again, will I make a sale? If I'm dead, will I ever rise again? Well, that might be a little different story. But I can tell you for sure, if you don't have prospects, you don't have an insurance business. That's for sure. Tiffany, I know of one in particular that recently offered lead discounts for each positive review on the friends, family, etc. on Glassdoor. Yeah, that's a shame, isn't it? It lowers the quality and the trust of the company. It's a terrible thing. Dave, how do you feel about Northwestern Mutual, kings of insurance? I don't have any firsthand experience. I've heard complaints that they are like MLM. I don't know. They remind me of something similar like New York Life, the same kind of market, the same setup, the same products. A lot of these like agency decisions are going to come down to, I think, talking with the regional rep or the regional office or your direct upline and really seeing if you match their personality type. And to also ask if you can talk to actual real-life producing agents that work in the agency. I think that's the only way you're really going to get an idea before you jump in. Otherwise, you got to jump in, but, you know, you may be, like, trapped too, you know, in a way. So that's why going back to this vetting the agency carefully and talking to agents and having discussions, frank discussions on how things work to see how they respond is so important. Because you got to remember, guys, people who run insurance agencies, guess what? They're pretty good salespeople. They understand that the perception's reality. What they show you is what you think is what's real. Like, that's what we mostly believe on the surface of what we look at all the time. But how they respond under pressure or under variables tells you a lot about the person. Okay? And so you've got to ask those questions of them to read between the lines. And why do I make such a big deal of this? Because I see the graveyard of dead agents in the sense of failing out of the business that do so because one of the top reasons they fail is a bad agency selection. So all of this is very important to do. Mark, hey Mark, I've heard of programs where you have someone telemarketing from the Philippines exclusively. What is your cost of these programs, and what is your opinion of them? I mentioned to train telemarketers, they can be very good. Some of those callers are fantastic. They do a great job. But when you do something like that where the people are the variable, you've got to manage people, you've got to monitor their performance, you got to listen to their script. All of this stuff is an assumption, and you should do it. But it comes with the territory, right, of hiring people to do the outbound stuff. So Eugene Marchenko, I did a video with about a month ago, and his whole Medicare supplement business is based around hiring like 6 Filipino telemarketers that outbound and generate calls and then send information to him, and then he follows up and basically picks the low-hanging fruit from him. It's a really good video if you go look for it. And that's what he's done it for years. I remember he was doing it in 2015, 2016, and he still does it, and it's done very well. Brady, roughly, how soon could I expect my first paycheck in life insurance sales? I don't know how New York Life does it. I know what we do is we pay on issue. And all that means is after the policy is approved, we get paid a couple of days after. Now, New York Life, if you're writing fully underwritten products, any of you guys know, when you write a product that requires attending physician statements, pull medical information from doctors, blood, urine samples, etc., that takes time, weeks if not months in some cases, especially if you deal with something like Veterans Administration, which really drag their feet. So that's going to increase the length of time before you get paid. So it just depends. And where, if it's a couple weeks, a couple months, there's a lot of variables there. It's hard to say. But probably not as fast as how fast we would pay. That's what I would say. Brady, don't do it. Robert, funnels are just purchase leads. Will you make a Discord or Discord server? I'm too stupid for that. I got to group me for my agents. It's about it. Stephanie, if we triple dial a lead, should we call from the same phone number? Yes. Yes, you should have. I think you should rotate numbers, but you should triple dial at that moment from the same number because they're going to see the same number. This is what I think's happening. Again, call me callous, but it is what it is. I see them thinking that second or third time the same number is called inside of a couple minutes. Somebody's hurt, somebody's in the hospital, something is happening right now that they need to attend to. And they're going to fill in the space in their mind, the fear, with something like a loved one that's in the hospital or something. That's kind of what I envision our clients are thinking. They're thinking the worst. And that's powerful. That's a powerful motivator to pick the phone up. So having the same number 3 times, I think, really sells that fear in their mind. Hey, Jackson, in your agency, at least, how much money should an FE inbound telesale spend? It depends on the inbound source. Probably $1,000 to $1,500 a week is what I would say, full-time at maximal capacity. All right. Robert, we get less than 1/4 percentage return. Oh, that's terrible. And in final expense direct mail in South Carolina years ago, it was about 1.5%. Is there a better way? We're getting, it depends on where you are in South Carolina. I've seen 1.5% in certain counties. North Carolina is terrible around Charlotte. Parts of it around Atlanta and the upper half of Georgia are tough. But there's little pockets of smaller town areas that I think generate decent response rates. And that's always been a really good strategy, I think still works today. It's go where your agent friends won't go. And for me, that's where I hear banjos. If I can hear banjos, that's my kind of people. Because agents are lazy. They want to work their backyard, their zip code. They don't want to drive an hour and a half, 2 hours away. And that's a strategy I personally employed and taught others to do. Just because those people aren't getting marketed to as much as, the people in Chattanooga, because there's a lot of agents where I live, and they all drop the same places, and so of course response rates are lower. So you got to be a little creative, in order to make the response rate stuff works. So, but South Carolina shouldn't be that bad. My son was with FFL. He said the leads are recycled and there's no mentoring or real training. Yeah. Jason says that, vet your trainer. went up 7 thumbs. Yes, I like likes. Please like this video. Again, I only ask you to do this because I like to have this shared with other agents out there who are blissfully unaware, maybe not blissfully, of what the business is really like and not sure of what they're getting into. And YouTube will show this if it sees a lot of people like it. So if you don't mind helping out, I appreciate it. Gerda, best carriers that have living benefits, Americo. There's tons. Moo, Foresters, Assurity. America's pretty pricey, I think, as you're mentioning. Freeman, the vendor's recycled. Upline blames you. Said I sound like a telemarketer. Yeah. Hey, check around. There's other ways of doing things. Ours are certainly not recycled, at least with us. I can attest to that. I'm recently licensed. How can I interview with you? Hey, Dennis. Send me a message at davidduford.com/contact. And this goes to anybody that's interested in learning more about my agency. I will send you some information to review first, just to answer the basic questions. And if you like what you see, you'll see an opportunity to set up a Q&A call on Mondays or Wednesdays. Now, I answer your questions in a small group format. And if all is to your liking, then the next step is to set up a one-on-one call to start the onboarding process and answer any final questions. Thanks for asking. Checks in the mail. Donald, have you heard of the Great Reset, Davos Agenda 2021, New World Order, World Economic Forum? If you don't know, what do you think America or the world will look like in 10 years? I think this business, I don't think we know anything, really. It's really funny to think, what do we really know? Did we know COVID was going to happen? I didn't. Did we know Trump was going to get elected? I sure as hell didn't see that coming. Or even Biden elected. I don't know, man. I don't know what to expect. I do know this, though. Barring some kind of World War III scenario, old people are going to get older. And more old people are going to age into being a senior. And the opportunity to sell insurance to people who are old is only going to get better. Because they like having agents sell them stuff because they're not adept as well as my age and younger are with the insurance sales online. And the market will just get better and better and better. If you're selling final expense, Medicare, 11,000 seniors a day are turning 65. That's when Medicare starts, and you can sell them Medicare Advantage plans, not just then, but before and after that age, if they're disabled, younger, if they're retired, older. Annuities are going to go through the roof, I think, because nobody at that age, not nobody, but a lot of people don't want their money at risk anymore in the market. Annuities protect against that. The sky's the limit. I don't know what's going to happen to this country in 10 years. I just know that in this market, we weren't creamed because of the COVID lockdown situation, guys. My income went up 42% last year as an agency. And I'm not bragging. I'm just saying, like, you know how many businesses got killed last year with all this BS, with the government shutdowns and businesses not being able to operate? A ton of them did. A ton of them got screwed. We didn't. And I'm not saying this to brag, but this is what this business allows in the right niches, is a level of immunity, not complete immunity, speaking of the pandemic, a level of immunity from the market effects that so commonly hurt a lot of businesses out there. It's a good reason to be in this business. And we are blessed. We are. Thank God. I'd hate to go through what a lot of you all and other businesses did. Okay. Thank you for the comment. Coming back here. Sorry, I'm way behind. I'm going to get to all these questions, I promise. What's the best way to memorize a material to pass the state test? Take the practice test a bunch of times. A lot of these have the ability to take a practice exam and make sure that you're passing it with a high enough number. So do that as much as you can. Chris keeps beating you up for money. Chris and John and a few others, David, Bob, are part of the agency. So if you're wondering, it's an inside joke. Bankroll. What's the amount? What's the amount of bankroll to go solo? It just depends on what your budget is. I mean, the more the merrier. yeah, just as much as you can is what I would say. Last comment, if you're new or nervous about getting started, go with Dave to get into Medicare. AEP is coming up and 80 million people are enrolling. Checks in the mail. Thank you. Also recommend customer service jobs or enrollment specialist jobs so that you can at least get used to talking to people before you have to worry about selling. You learn the medications too for final expense. Yeah, absolutely. I say just dump in and start selling. But yeah, get into the business. Part-time is great, guys. You don't have to leave your day job if you're worried. Part-time is the perfect avenue if you're just dipping your toe in the water. Just take it seriously. North Star says, Jackson, remote telesales agents, are the calls inbound or are they outbound as well? I think it's a combination of both. Don't quote me on this. I think they've got fronters that qualify the leads before they send them to you, but where the leads come vary. I'm sure somebody in here has worked for them and can attest to it. Tar, thank you for answering my question. Speaking of bankroll, how much do you recommend having a reserve before starting to switch over to Medicare than final expense? Yeah, more than final expense, because Medicare is a poor, not as good first-year commission business model relative to final expense. In the long run, I think if you have the same level of tenacity, you're going to make more money with Medicare sales than final expense, but not in the short run. So it just depends. It depends on your personal budget and stuff. It's hard to say for sure, but you'll want more bankroll and selling Medicare than final expense. Tina, I did sign up with your company and curious, do you train us on Medicare or we need to train on that on our own? Yeah, get AHIP. You got to do AHIP before you get contracted officially with us, Tina. Once you're AHIP credentialed, then you can contract with the carriers we start you with, then get you involved in the sales and technical training on Medicare side. Yeah, I'm far behind, man. I sit here and somebody said in that survey we did, you're too blunt. I don't think they've listened to these Q&As where I just drone on about one little thing for minutes on end. I did Andre, hey, current situation, not much money and starting off part-time with an IMO. What would you suggest to start getting in the right process? Define not much money. I wouldn't start this business if I didn't have $1,500 readily disposable to invest in leads, preferably $2,000, and that's part-time. If you don't reach that number, then I would consider working for Assurance IQ, Select Quote, or North Star. They provide free leads. You get trained, but you don't have to invest your own money. And they do have flex hours, so you can work when you're not working at your full-time gig. And once you've developed a skill set and you have some money saved from your sales, then go solo, because now you've got the money and you can manage being independent. Hey, James, when you get 2,000 leads on average, how many of that 2,000 leads? A quarter of them. I guess it depends on the type of leads. 2,000 Facebook leads, I'd be happy if I got 150, which sounds crazy, but it's true. Direct mail, I'd want 500 out of 2,000 to close. That's my goal. Live transfers, half. Maybe 300 to 400, but half would be great. So it just depends. I'd have to know a little more. Sunlight, hi. I know this is a tough question, but what do you think? If, and I think it is a big if, Medicare for all becomes a reality, will it help or hurt insurance agents? So Biden was talking about reducing the age. I think this is a part of the campaign trail of reducing the Medicare age to 62 or 60. I think in the short term, that's just going to mean more business for us. The real issue is what's going to happen in the next 20 years. What's going to happen to Medicare? What's going to happen to healthcare? I mean, healthcare was great, right? So why not fix it with more government intrusion, right? So whatever aisle on the deal you stand on, I don't know. I really don't know. What we did see initially with health insurance is that the business all but was destroyed. If you had under 65 health care, you had private policies, commissions went from 15% to zero inside of 3 or 4 years. People who built their entire business on health insurance saw it go away. The difference with Medicare, I think, is that there is a block of voters called senior citizens and those close to retirement that don't want to see the thing they paid in their whole life reduced in quality, because they're at the tail end of their life, and having good health insurance is pretty important. So I think it's kind of a political risk on some level. The question is, will this feeling hold for the next 10 to 20 years? I don't know. I think all bets are off after 20 years. We don't know what's going to happen. Kind of said that already. But 20 years out, I don't know. I'm not saying no. I just don't know. But for the next 10, 15 years, I don't think anything major is going to happen that's going to collapse the business. I would be more worried about artificial intelligence, which I think is a low risk anyway, for enrolling clients, than I would say, Medicare going away and the business opportunity. So I'm not worried about it yet. Does your agency provide a website for agents? No. Do you recommend a website and software setup? No. Here's why. We buy leads, okay? You run leads. They're blind leads. They don't need any brand building from a website. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I've got websites. buylifeinsuranceforburial.com if you want to see what mine looks like. That generates leads. That builds brand. But that's a different strategy than what we teach you to do, okay? The problem with websites, and if you use those, especially selling over the phone, is that is an easy out for your prospect to say, well, I like what you see. Let me check out your website, and I'll give it some thought, right? So I don't think you need a website. And every one of my agents who does well doesn't have one and doesn't use it. So to me, it is one less thing that you should worry about because it's just going to draw out the time ultimately to just get out there and start selling people on the phone. So I would say avoid it initially. Hey, Dave, how can I sign up? DavidDuford.com/FAQ. Review the whole FAQ page top to bottom. Make sure that it sounds like it's a good opportunity. Join me on a Q&A call. You see where to do that once you do that. And then if you like what you see, you can set up a one-on-one call with me to speak with me privately about proceeding. Kay Freeman, Dave, do you recommend some cold calling for a segment of markets? Of course. I would maybe cold call business owners. That would be about it. Otherwise, no. It's just too much trouble. Mark, do you include a CRM and price quote app? We have a price quote app, but we don't do a CRM. You should be in control of your own data. It's the most valuable asset you have. The last thing you want to do is give that to somebody else to manage or take from you, potentially. So, sorry, my kids are screaming in the background. So you can buy your own. There are CRMs that are $10, $15 a month. There are CRMs that are $150, $200 a month, and all in between that are good. There's a lot of good options. So don't worry about it. For your Medicare team. Oh, we've got one for Medicare, yeah. DavidDuford.com/Medicare -Advantage. Check that out. You'll see what next steps to take if you like what you see. Manuel, hey. Dave, what is the best combination of internet marketing and lead generation for little, no cost? Ah, yes, the holy grail of selling insurance, right? For example, MailChimp, AdWords, landing page, and social media posts. Tough for me to answer because of your little to no cost. I mean, if you want to market online to little, no cost, I don't know, work Facebook, your friends and family, the old-fashioned way, your network. You're going to have a lot of cost to develop a website. The problem nowadays is ranking websites to get organic traffic, which maybe you're referring to, is just impossible. The powers that be that run Google don't let you rank unless you're a very highly authoritative website. And that is an arbitrary decision to an extent that Google extends. So it's not even worth fighting, in my opinion. Hopefully they answered your question. Time creator, if you do triple dialing, caller ID comes up as spam eventually. Is this common? Nah, not really. Not enough. You can always switch phone numbers. You probably should have numbers for that reason. It's a good point you bring up. People will still answer, though, because they're like, who is calling me? You're breaking the pattern. You're breaking the conditioning. When they pick up the phone and they see spam, they're like, oh, my God, who is it? Maybe it's wrong. Maybe it's my grandkid. Hello. It's powerful. It really is. How does in-person sales work in your company or any other company? Just meet up in a certain location like a coffee shop, or you have business buildings all over America like Seattle and Florida. You go to their home. Yeah, you walk in their house, you sit down on their couch, and you sell them. At least that's how we do it. We sell to business. We sell to consumers, and we come to them. They don't ever come to us. You go to them. Thanks, David. You're welcome. Hey, David. John, I'm in the licensing exam phase. How do I deal with family of opposition due to myself transitioning out of industrial blue-collar career? So here's the thing, John. Welcome to the club. Get used to nobody believing in your convictions. That's what we call leadership, all right? is doing the thing that you believe in when nobody else really thinks it's going to pan out and not caring what they think. The problem comes when you have like spouses to deal with, right? And other obligations, which is not just you, right? I envy the young men out there who don't have wives and can just do what they want, Seriously, though, I mean, I've got a video. If you go put into YouTube, David Duford, wife. My wife and I talk for like 40 minutes. And we talk about the same process. And I was very frank. My wife did not believe in me. She thought this was the worst idea. And then I failed the business, confirming her belief. And I still came back and did very well after a couple of years. But we don't pull any punches here. It is normal and customary for people to doubt you. But there's loads of examples of people from your kind of background or from lots of backgrounds that defy the odds. And this is good. This is ultimately, this is a test of your convictions. Because you're going to get confirmation when you have struggles that, maybe I shouldn't have done this. You're going to doubt yourself. That's normal. Anything in life that's extraordinary, which this business is, the offerings it gives you, is you're going to have to face some demons. And you're going to have to face, from people you love, opposition. And I don't know what to say to get around it. It's just, hopefully they believe in you as much as you do. And if they don't, I mean, for me, I did it anyway. Because I knew I was destined for success. And there's no irony with that. I was legit. And I was right. So good luck to you. Matt, I've been with Bankers Life for over a month. Do you know my company? Yes, I do. Also, I'm not doing well booking appointments on the phones. Any tips of having a sense of urgency when the phone prospecting? Are you booking Medicare appointments? I mean, I would look at if you put into YouTube, put in whatever you're selling, appointment setting Duford to get some ideas. Especially the more recent videos. I've adjusted how we set appointments. I think it works a lot better than the old ways I used to teach. And it's just a numbers game, man. And a lot of the leads you're calling are aged. They've been called a bunch. That's part of the problem. It would be different if you had fresh leads like what we teach our agents to do. It makes a big difference. So, just know you're kind of up against resistance, and you just got to make up for it in volume. How is the Chicago and Northern Illinois market for final expense? Perfect. It's great. For all of that's good, Mark. Yeah, there's no problem there. Hey, Faye. Oh, man, I'm never going to get out of here. Okay. Are you still allowing agents to sell over the phone? Yeah, we do telesales now. So if you want to learn more, davidduford.com/FAQ. Face-to-face and telesales. Thoughts on Integrity Marketing Group and AmeriLife? I don't really have any thoughts on them. I know Integrity Marketing is buying everybody out. I think AmeriLife's doing something similar. They're kind of the 800-pound gorillas in this business. I don't know much more beyond that. Dave Duford, a.k.a. DIG, is the best place to work in America if he accepts you into his group. Thank you, Chris. Checks in the mail. Nothing makes sense. You got a check coming. He does now, John. He knows what to say. Richard, studying for a license so I can start out buying 5 to 10 leads a week. I would say 10 to 15, really, if you're doing direct mail for final expense. To call those leads takes maybe an hour. Sometimes more, sometimes less. What marketing activities do you recommend to fill the rest of the 50, 60-hour work week? Well, if you have that much extra time, buy more leads. I mean, that's what it comes down to. If you're putting your toe in the business and you've got full time, I would start with 20 leads a week. That'll keep you busy enough. Because a lot of, look, here, when you're brand new, you're going to kind of struggle with things. Everything's new. It's going to take more time to do a presentation. You know what I'm talking about. So I think you'll be plenty busy with enough leads. That's what I would focus on. Are you selling your agency to Integrity Marketing? No. Why are they buying everyone? Because this business has a problem on the equity side. This is what little I know. It's the play here, as best as I understand what Integrity is doing, is if we can shore up all the independents and offer it out as a package deal to an equity group or a hedge fund or something, then the returns or the multiples on the sale are going to be greater than if we sold on our own. So everybody kind of pulls together with this ultimate future hope that hopefully whenever that does happen that they sell out, that they'll make a lot more than had they not. I'm not selling out. Not yet. I'm 36. I'm not going anywhere. What would I do? What would I do with myself? What would you do? Retirement, let me tell you something. Working with old people, let me tell you all something. Retirement sucks. It is the most exaggerated claim ever to be propagated on Americans. Retirement. Retirement, you just sit around and you do nothing. You know what the number one killer of men over 65 is? Retirement. I don't want to be that guy, okay? I want something to do. I want a creative outlet. I want a job. I want a business. I want meaning and significance. My dad retired when he was 49, and then he got divorced, put all his money in Destin real estate in the 2000s, lost a lot of it, got remarried, divorced, got remarried. So he's not retired anymore in his early 60s. Besides that, don't do that. But no, I'm not interested in selling out. I like this business too much. Okay, I wanted to make sure before I sign up with AHIP, you're welcome. Is WFG a good company to get in? I'll let the audience answer that for you. Do some YouTube searches for my videos and then some Google searches to kind of get more perspective. I think there's better. Stop voting Democrat. Time Creator, does your agency offer group health insurance? No, I just have Obamacare. I've always had Obamacare. There's just not many other options. How much does exercising in the morning help in the sales business? Seems very pseudoscience that exercising helps sales. I put up a PR today. I bench pressed 270. We'll be going for 275 here soon. I'm on the road to 300 bench. And when you exert force and you push yourself to new heights, first thing in the morning, it unlocks this magical capability to close more. You're instantly more attractive. Your bank account is bigger. And life's just great before 7 in the morning. Why would you not want to do it? Mark, would you consider the constant contact? Yeah, that would be fine as a CRM. Life of Cody. Cody Askins? What? How much issued have you guys hit for the year so far? I don't talk about production. So I'm old-fashioned. Some people ask me, so how much business are you doing? How much money are you making? It's none of your business. And I mean that with all due respect. I don't know what it is. I just grew up in a way that I disdain the flash. I disdain the show-off stuff. It always bothers me. I don't talk production. I don't talk as far as group goes, as far as income goes. I'm just old-fashioned, man, and it's nothing personal. This is what it is. All right. It's good, though. Lisa, how did your momentum up when you came back after leaving this business? I worked for somebody else, Lisa, and saw how horrible it was. And there's nothing, the momentum is nothing like when you go to work for a corporate Fortune 500 company and you see men in their 50s, miserable in life, doing a job they hate, they get stepped on, and have absolutely no prospects for the rest of their life. Now, why in the world would you want to be in a job like that? You've got, this life is short, man. And I'm going to tell you all right now, it's watching Office Space, the old movie from the 90s. Y'all watch that? It's like a documentary on working for somebody. I watched that when I was in my teenage years. I was like, God, I don't want to work for anybody. And then I saw it was like actually real when I went out into the real world. That was the motivation. Seriously. I didn't want to be another person that hated their job, that never got anywhere in life and, just was stuck. What a terrible feeling that is. And in the short time I was there, it made me understand that the petty little problems I had with my belief of the final expense business at the time paled in comparison to the pain that would suffer if I worked for somebody the rest of my life. And I was willing to pay the price that it took to get away from that. And it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. It's not going to be fun for a couple of years, probably. There's going to be a sacrifice of time and money, but it's better than working for those people. You know what I mean? Donald asks, another funny question, how dangerous is it to go into someone's house to make sales like that? My dad told me pest control, door knocking is dangerous. So let me tell you about some stories I've had. and they're all kind of weird. Well, they're all weird, but they're not all. It's not all bad. I just remember these. I've run probably 3,000 face-to-face appointments, and if you don't like what I'm about to tell you, just do telesales. And that's the nice solution we have nowadays. I had one man in Alabama, deep in the woods, who threatened to kill me. He had a big sign on his front yard that said, "Any persons who trespass are subject to whatever I do to them, like physical damage, is not our fault," is what it said. And, of course, I just got done closing a deal, so I was like, screw it, man, I'm feeling good. The funny thing is I still closed the guy after he threatened to bury me in his backyard because his wife calmed him down. He signed it, and I got the hell out of there. And then he died 3 years later, and my policy paid out. And I don't think any other agent would have had the guts to do that one. That was a scary one. I had a drug deal done in front of me. The little grandkid came in the house, and the old dude went in the back. I heard some chopping sound, and then he came out with a baggie and like a napkin and handed it to him. He was gone. I was like, shit. Get out of here, man. Let's see what else. I've had a number of grannies have their pieces on them when I came in. That's always cracked me up. I had one lady I saw. She was funny. She was sitting there at the table, and she had her gun in her holster pointed at me, but it was on the table, like right in front. And I was like, "Is that your gun? You're not going to kill me or anything?" She's like, I'll just keep it out here just in case. I'm like, "Oh, I get it. I understand." I had one guy chase me out of the house in Alabama. There's a bunch of weird people in Alabama. If you haven't figured that out nowadays, he was a very angry man, and he came over and chased me out to the car, and that was close. I had one guy in a wheelchair I closed. He was so drunk, his fridge was full of 24 packs of natural ice. That's all was in there. He did I say he was in a wheelchair? I don't think he was in a wheelchair. No. He was so drunk, he peed out in the front porch by the road, and then I sold him a policy. It was okay for drug addicts or drunks. It was a graded coverage with the company. But I got a call a month later, and his daughter said, he died. I said, what happened to so-and-so? What happened? He was perfectly in shape besides his little drinking problem. And he said, well, he got in an argument with his uncle, and his uncle's in a wheelchair, and he got shot in the back. And in Alabama, the stand your ground law applies, and even though he got shot in the back, I mean, think, the bullet enters the back. He ain't facing him, right? You can tell this stuff with forensic science. They said, he's covered under standard ground laws. I'm like, okay, man. Don't cause any trouble down this place. Besides that, it's pretty safe business. Thanks, Dave. That was very motivating and everything I needed to hear. Sure, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. Leo, looking to sell part-time after the 9 to 5. Fresh leads are out of my budget currently. Does it make sense to get aged leads? Sure. Well, for telesales, it's a lot harder with aged leads. I don't necessarily recommend it. I hear closing is better on direct mail leads, weighing it out. I would do some kind of Facebook lead variant we were talking about earlier. If you go cycle back in this video, you'll see it. If you're doing part-time over the phone, if you're doing face-to-face, I would do direct mail for sure. And then just scale up as you do it. WFG, ask about trans amendment. Yeah, okay. Trans amendment. Don't get me started. All right. You guys keep asking questions. I keep staying here. My wife's going to start yelling at me in a minute. David eats ramen and crackers for dinner. I did for a while there. If you're not actively producing, how long before companies cancel your contracts? About 6 months to 12 months. It just depends on the companies. To increase your bench to get 300 pounds, work bench negatives with 2 spotters into your routine. Yeah, I don't have spotters. I bench and press in my garage by myself. And we just do heavy singles, doubles, volume work, progressively add weight to the bar, take a week off every couple weeks just to, not overtrain, right? Seems to be working out. Make sure I'm not eating, or make sure I'm eating enough, as you guys can tell, More like. Is Southern California, Orange County an oversaturated market for final expense? No, I think it's fine. I think it's wide open. I mean, don't worry too much about the. I've been hearing saturation rate for like ever since I started in this business, guys. Saturation, everything's saturated. There's agents everywhere. You go here, you go there. There's agents everywhere. But there's still people who are successful. There's marketing saturation, but there's not agent saturation because the first guy in the house wins, in my opinion. So you got to be good. You got to be fast. You got to be proficient in your skill. The odds will be in your favor. Matt, thank you for answering my question. I appreciate you and your wisdom. Christopher Smith. Hey, Chris, I heard they fired you off of the insurance panel. Can you teach confidence, or is it only gained by doing the job hard work? You can't teach confidence. What you got to have reasons. I think confidence comes from competence. I think if you do well and you see that you do well, it's kind of a momentum effect. What's hard to teach is getting people to do something despite their inadequacies, self-imposed inadequacies, or self-believed inadequacies. We all start in this business. There's a paradox effect. We start painfully aware of how little we know, but we all start there. But some people do it anyway, and they understand that by learning is by doing, and they course correct and they fix and they make mistakes, but they make fewer and fewer over time until they've developed that confidence. So you have to act as if. You got to act it out anyway. And as soon as you figure that out, better off you're going to be. Oh, my God. Oh, here we go. You're in a defender position. David is carrying while knocking. I never carried, guys. I kind of regret that. I wish I did. I just figured I'm such a good salesman, I can talk myself out of most situations. Which apparently I did. But that works until it doesn't. Right? Pistol packing little ladies, yeah. You got to watch these grannies, man. What you really got to watch out for is the grannies that chew and spit tobacco. Those are real women, by the way. Real ladies. Hey, David, what's going on? Mathis, do you think selling insurance in the morning or daytime is profitable? Probably not. The evening is best. That's when everybody's home. You should do it all hours, really, if you have the time. You can make anything work, but I think the best odds are definitely in the evening. I'm kidding, Chris. I'm kidding. I know things happen. I was just pulling your leg, man. I asked them that question when they had me on. I said, "Where's Chris? Did you fire him?" And they laughed and okay. Good to see you, Chris. I'm on appointment with carriers. I'm appointment with carriers in one in my home state, Florida. I just became licensed in a few other states. How do I go about becoming appointed with carriers? Call the carriers and ask to be appointed to those states. That's the easiest way. Some carriers will appoint you once you write business there. Others require it firsthand. Leo, thank you for the feedback, Mr. Dave. Huge respect for all you do. Listening to your war stories makes me want to try face-to-face DM part-time. Hey, Chris, tell them about the roaches and the dog poop and the cat pee. Maybe you'll change your mind. What are the top objections you face during a Medicare sale? I would ask Luis Moreno on. I mean, it's just going to be like doctors, prescription availability, belief in you. I think there's less objections with Medicare than there are final expense. If you can meet all the concerns that they have and get them better coverage. Okay. Am I at the end here? Any last questions here? I've gone an hour and a half. If you got questions, you better throw them out now. And like this video if you haven't already. Please, 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 so you can share it to the people who need it. David, are you familiar with infinite banking? Not really. I just don't. That's not my bag. I don't do it. I don't, yeah. I don't know where to go for it. The one I have in mind is associated with an insurance MLM. They make you pay $200 a month to get the training, which is bullshit. And I just don't believe in that stuff. So buy the books. David Kinder on here is probably a good place to go. He runs a channel. He does real insurance. Unlike us final expense peddlers, you may want to check his content out. He probably has some ideas where to go. Okay. Anybody else have any final questions? How to get sales experience before the age of 18? Cutco, sell knives. Stand in a cell phone booth and sell cell phones. I would just Google search, sales jobs for teenagers. There's likely something out there I'm missing. That's what I would do. And Donald, that would be the best investment of your time, man. I'm telling you what. How many here who've done this business wish they would have started like younger? I wish I did. I'm 20, knowing what I know now, 36 years old. I wish I started when I was like 18. Screw college. I wish I never went to that crap. Waste all that money. I wish I would have just started hustling burial insurance. Where I would have been nowadays. Oh. Seriously, though, starting young is good. How to get licensed in multiple states? NIPR.com. After you get your license, you just go over there and buy, give the government the money it wants. That's all it wants for now. You don't have to take another test or anything. Yeah, you're welcome, Justin. David, why don't you sell PNC? I just never did it because I desperately had to make money when I started Final Expense. And, when you do something really well, you really don't need to do much of anything else. And so that's kind of why I got into Final Expense and never anything else. And as my business evolved, we added Medicare and annuities because we're in the senior market. And PNC it's part of the senior market, but it's an everything product. So it's just kind of outline. How do I take the AHIP test? AHIP, MedicareTraining.com, pay the fee, study, and then pass with a 90%. You got to get a 90 to pass. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Next gen. For someone waiting for their license, application to finish, any advice on what I could work study on? Whatever agency you're looking to join, get into their sales training ASAP. Start learning the script, start practicing the script, start attending live trainings. That's what I would tell you if you're an agent of mine. Faye has an easy answer to PNC. No money. Mark, if your agents are out in the field, is there anyone at the agency that can call me? You can call me. I answer my phone calls. I respond to my text messages as long as they're relevant, right, John? John J. Yeah, no, I'm a small business. I don't have a bunch of people running around, patting me on the back, telling me how great I am. All right? I don't have employees. I manage my business in a way where you deal directly with me. I'm hiring a part-time right-hand man here soon, but that's just to free up my time so I can help my agents out more. And it works very well. I'm very reachable. If you need help immediately and you're in the field, you're my first priority. Agents in the field know if they need my help, they're going to get it. Donald, is there a way to protect yourself in person sales? Something happens. I've heard that in-person sales is easier. Is there a way to protect yourself? Gun, jiu-jitsu. Don't go places that sketch you out. Use kind of common sense. If I saw a beware of dog sign, I'm not getting eaten. I had a pit bull one time. I was going into this house in Cleveland, Tennessee, and the grandkids there said, "Oh yeah, Miss Jones inside. Go on and see her." And I started walking into this big old pit bull, jumped up, put its paws, came out of nowhere out of the door, put its paws on my legs, and stuck its big teethy snout right in my crotch. And I thought it was over. No more kids. No more you-know-what. Why the hell am I doing this business? And it felt like an attorney. I just paused there. I knew if I started to run or push in, the dog was going to mangle me, And eventually Granny said, "Get off of him. You're going to do that. Get back here, bad dog." I was like, "Oh, dear God, thank you." And then she bought a policy from me, and then she lapsed. Direct Express. Who's the best, most cost-effective online pre-licensing company out there? Excel Solutions is what we use. Can we get one of your book at a discount? Yes. Go to my website, davidduford.com/store for the ebook. That's a discounted one. Go there. Or get all three of them for the low cost of $30 and save $20 to $30 off your regular MSRP. Faye, tell that to multi-million book owners, dollar book owners, LL. Missed that. Oh, yeah. Some people, this is how insurance, most people don't make money in this business, but the people who do make a lot. The rich get richer. 80-20 rule certainly applies in all insurance sales. WebCE is good for sure for continuing education units. What are some good questions to ask when choosing which place to work at? I'm just getting my license. Hold on. Have an agent text me. Hold on. Okay. What makes you different? What do you specialize in? Why do agents do business with you over others? Can I talk to some of your agents that have done well? How do leads work? Are they fresh? Are they exclusive? And you can pause and record this and write this down. Do I own my book of business? Is there a non-compete? How many years does it take me to be vested? If it's anything less than 100% immediate vesting, don't do it in most cases. What kind of training you can provide? Who's my upline? You'll know pretty well after asking that series of questions if it's good. Also, buy my book, The Green Book. Can you see it back there? It's somewhere over there. The Official Guide to Selling Insurance for New Agents. It's on like $4 on Amazon. That is a good guide to kind of help you make this decision. It's an important decision. Which agency to join? Have you ever had an issue with your agents not receiving their commissions from carriers? No, never. Because the carriers pay, not me. If I was paying you, I'm not a bean counter. That might be problematic. How do you compete against online-only sales companies like Policy Genius? They're not my market, Philip. Not everybody wants to do everything without an agent. The vast majority want an agent to help. And a lot of those solutions that are online only don't offer the same kind of benefits we do. They don't have as good companies. They don't have as good value proposition. They can't get to the heart of the matter as well as the individual person can. So, it's likewise. How do you compete against the call centers that have tons of reps out there dialing away? Well, they sell crappy products that are overpriced. They simplify the sales process to the extent that it's easy to replace them. So, we go in and help people get better quality coverage in many cases. And, great. All right. Do we need insurance as agents? Yeah. You need to get health. You should get health insurance. I don't think you have to anymore, right? The mandate's gone. But health insurance for sure. I think it helps to own life insurance when you're selling life insurance, just to say, hey, not only do I sell this stuff, I actually own it. Because you believe it. The brown book behind Dave is awesome. Which one? Brown book? Which one is it? There's lots of brown books. David, can you share your telesales scripts? If you email me a reminder, I'll send it to you. Or at least one of them. It's not entirely up to date, but it's a good place to start. I'm going to buy your book just for all the free advice you give, and thank you. Appreciate it. What is your go-to value statement when getting a Medicare objection? No problem. All I need is 5 minutes to show you how this works, and what you do with this information is up to you. Why don't I swing by at 10, or does 2 work better? But as far as objecting at the end of a sale and the close, it just depends on what the objection is. We're going to feel, felt, found it. We're going to isolate the objection, see if there's any others, and then propose why they should do business anyway. Just depends. Selling final expense. It's not brown. It is. It looks brown. It's actually red. It's just a color scheme here. Yeah, buy that book too. It's simply awesome. I meant insurance for agents if a policy mistake is made, called, errors and omissions. Oh. Yeah, errors and omissions. eoforless.com is the place to go. Thank you, Justin. All right. Okay, that's it for me. I went 40 minutes longer than I thought. Didn't feel like it. I've already gone an hour and a half. I've done tons of calls today already. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed this content and got some value out of it. I love doing these calls. I know it's a little early, but next year I plan on doing weekly live streams, so you'll see a lot more of this, just because they help a lot of people. And make sure you share this with your friends. Like if you haven't already. And we'll see you next time. Hope you enjoy the content. And if I can entertain you on learning what it's like to join my agency, go to davidduford.com, click the FAQ button at the top to learn more. And as always, thank you for watching. See y'all later. Bye. It's not working. There it goes.